Hello. Welcome to Make With Me Monday. My name is Robin French Smith and it's Monday. So it's time for Make With Me Monday. Not even going to comment on whether or not I did that right. Welcome to Make With Me Monday. My name is Robin French Smith. It's Monday, so that means it's time to make something. I'm sorry, I'm trying to make this big. Be big. Okay, it's not big. I don't know. Okay. You know what? That's not my specialty. My specialty is thinking of things, okay? So, today we're going to use our Wit soap base that we made from scratch at some point. Can't remember when. I can't remember if I made this. I can't remember if I made this in this group or if I made it in Patreon. I can't remember. I've made it in this group at least once. So if you want to see how to make the base, at the top of the group we have like pinned posts, and if you like scroll through, there's a post that Amanda made where it's like a directory of all the lives ever, and I don't know how, but like they keep up with it. I don't know how they do that, but they keep up with it. Look, I'll show you what it looks like. Anyway, and you can go to that. Hold on, it's there somewhere, I promise. You can go to right there. You can go there to that post, and then it has a list of every Make With Me Monday for years, and you can watch it. Okay, so if you want to know how to make the base, do that. But today, instead of that, we're gonna do because you have to like let the base kind of rest. It needs like to rest, and so before we make share scrubs with it, which we're gonna do today. So that's what we're doing today. Okay, hi. Nancy, Michelle, and me, and Elizabeth, and Kelly all say hi. Hi, welcome to Make With Me Monday, guys. What's up? Okay, I'm gonna get some gloves. We're gonna get started. I'm gonna try to do something today that I have not done with this base. I'm gonna try. You might have got the hint from the cover picture, but I'm gonna try to make it look like a rainbow. I've done it before with like, pardon me, I'm parched. I've done it before with like Wonder Bar and other stuff like that, so I don't know. I want to try it. I want to try it with this. I think this sounds fun. Okay, and let's keep going. So I'm following the directions that I wrote for myself thankfully a long time ago, so I don't have to like try to think about it now, but I'm following the directions for the Wit soap base. This is what it looks like. It's really pretty. Oh wait, probably looks like that. It's a really pretty cover. Amanda did a great job on it. So I'm following the directions for the Whip soap base that you have master batched, and now you want to turn that into a sugar scrub, and that's on page 19 of this little handout thing. Okay, so but it's been so long since I've made this that I can't remember how much it makes. Like, I know the Whip soap base, it like fluffs up a lot if you're gonna do Whip soap, but this is, I had a spoon. Oh, I used it to scoop lakes out. Okay. When you do the scrub, okay, so the Whip soap base, like if you're just gonna do the Whip soap, or you're gonna do like a shaving soap, right? Those get like really fluffy, and they're really light. Like you'll have like an 8-ounce jar, and it has like 3 ounces of product in it. So those lighter than they look. The scrub, on the other hand, is thicker and more dense. So I think I'm gonna double. I've been debating this all morning. I think I'm gonna double the amount that it calls for because then I'm gonna have a lot of sugar scrub, which I know it's like, duh, you don't. But I just want to make sure that I have enough, because when you're doing like rainbowy type of things and then you're trying to make that work and you don't have enough product, then it's like harder to do it. So I'd rather have too much than not enough. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Okay. So we're gonna try that. I don't know how it's gonna go. We're gonna try it. So with this base, there is an ingredient in this base called bioturge. Bioturge. It is a surfactant, which means it creates bubbles, and it works really well with hard water. Like, it's a really good co-surfactant. It works really well with hard water. There's not like a ton of suppliers that have it, but I did make sure when we developed this that it was available in from more than one supplier, because I don't ever want to do like a recipe where like the only place you can get it is from Lotion Crafter. Like, they do have a lot of really cool ingredients, or like making cosmetics, they do have like a lot of really cool ingredients, but then like you can't get it anywhere else, so then I don't like that. So you can get it from Voyager, Windy Point, but also I'm like stuttering because I'm excited. But also, Muddy Soap Co., who is one of my like favorite suppliers. I had talked to her when we first started carrying. This came out. I had talked to her about the possibility of her bringing Bioturge into her product line, and she actually did that. So cool, right? So highly suggest them as well in the US. I actually need to get my hands on some liquid Bioturge. Not that it's hard to get your hands on. I'm just saying, like, I need to order some. I'm making it sound like I gotta find it, but it's not that serious. Like, I just need to order it, because I know that there are people who they can only find the liquid version. So I need to test it and make sure that the liquid version is comparable, you know. But yeah. And if you can't find that ingredient, or you don't want to buy it, or whatever, there's like a bunch of substitutions listed in the recipe. You don't need it. It's fine. You can. It's fine. Okay. It was more of like my favorite base that I got from a supplier had it, and so I was kind of reverse engineering that base. But a lot of bases don't have it, and they're fine. So please don't let that be your sticking point. It's not that big a deal. It's not that serious. Sam says that he's happy to catch me and hoping I'm having a good day. I am having a good day. Thank you for asking. So, when we're doing this whipped soap base for like soap, you know what I'm saying? When we want it fluffy, you have to worry about overbeating it, because then it can collapse, blah, blah, blah. The sugar scrub is not going to collapse. Okay? You can beat it. Okay? I'm not going to make any jokes about that. It's not appropriate. But put it in the mixer. Beat it. Okay. It's starting to fluff up. It's going to fluff up. It's going to double up in size. I'll probably switch to this one maybe in just a second. I'll kind of go back and forth with the paddle and this one. Once I add the sugar, it's going to be hard to use this one. Okay, so we'll probably have to go to this one, but I wanted to break it up a little bit with my paddle first before I put that wire beater in because it was like, you know, solid from sitting around and like thick and stuff like that. So now it's kind of starting to get fluffy, looking like whipped cream, looking so delicious. Oh my god, speaking of whipped cream, I didn't use whipped cream, so, but cream, berries and cream. It's dewberry season in, I want to say Texas, but I don't know if it's all over Texas. I know for sure it's like a Houston thing. Like, we have tons of dewberries here. We don't have like a lot of things that you can side of the road forage, but we do have dewberries, okay? And it's basically like a blackberry. It's probably just identical to a blackberry. Anyway, so we went last weekend and got a bunch of dewberries. We had a bunch, so I made cobbler. It was delicious. It was so good. It was so good. And then we used up all the berries doing things. Okay, I dehydrated some. Can't remember what we ate. You know, just eat a bunch. So this weekend we went back out because it's pretty much the last weekend. There may be still some left next weekend, but it's pretty much the last weekend to go get them. So we got like one of these 5-gallon buckets like full of berries. So now I have to make more cobbler, and it's so hard, you know? It's just such a big responsibility to have to make it and then eat it. It's like, oh my gosh, why? Okay, so I added some extra oil. It's not necessary. The base as it is, like, you can just use the base exactly as it is. You don't have to like add anything extra to it. But I figured when you guys were formulating it, you'd maybe want to. Okay, so you don't have to, but you can. Like, I tried to make space in the recipe for that if you wanted to. So I added some extra oil. I'm also gonna add my fragrance oil. I'm gonna take a risk here. I'm gonna take a risk here with my fragrance oil because I want to use Fruit Loops, but it has a lot of vanilla in it. So I'm gonna take a risk though. So maybe I was thinking I'd do half Fruit Loops and half Jumping Juniper, which is like a citrusy thing, to kind of like keep it from having too much vanilla, you know? So that's what I'm gonna do. I don't know if it's gonna discolor or not, so like, it's weird because lotions don't really discolor the same way like soaps and bath bombs do with vanilla, but that's because they're in a container usually and they're kept away from air, and so the oxidation, which is what causes the brownness, spots and stuff, can't get to it. But I don't know if that's gonna be the same story for this, so I'm just gonna like cross my fingers and hope, but we're gonna see. Okay, and then additionally, because we're gonna be adding more, oh, okay, hold on. I did everything fine, but actually I was following the wrong way, so I need to add a little bit more oil. Okay, hold on. A little bit more oil. Okay, and a fragrance. A little bit more fragrance. Whoops. And then we're gonna also add some more preservative. That's how I noticed that I was looking at the wrong one, because I was looking at the wrong one. We're gonna add some extra preservative, and the reason for that is that we are doubling the volume of this product, right? So the amount of preservative that we put into this preserves this and would preserve this base, as long as we didn't add any more things to it, which we are doing. So we're gonna have to add a little bit more preservative Now we have like a suggested amount of preservative to add, but go based off the usage rate for your preservative. And if you don't know, that's okay. Look, I stayed up. I've been working on some articles, some blog posts for preservatives. And I've been like eking it along in Patreon. They're probably like tired of me saying like, I'm almost done with it, guys. I'm almost done with it. But I'm almost done with it. But I've just been like slowly eking it along because there's a lot in preservatives. But last night I stayed up till 4 a.m. baby. Okay, finishing up at least the first 3 blog posts. At least the first 3, and I probably am gonna do a 4th one to specifically address parabens, formaldehyde, and formaldehyde releasers in preservatives. So that's a bit of a hot button. So I saved that for last, so I have like time to think about it, think about how I was gonna word my words. Okay, but yeah. So if you're in Patreon, you already have access to that first one, and I have the other 2 ready. I just need to create like the arts for them and put that in, and then I'm gonna post those. And then we also have a preservatives chart. Oh my god, let me show you. Yeah. Look at what we're doing. You can't see it really, but we have a preservatives chart. I'm sorry, she's so loud. Shh. I have this chart of preservatives that I've been working on, and it has like almost every preservative I can find. And then what I'm also trying to do is I'm trying to go in and find the ingredients that comprise a preservative. So like potassium sorbate or capryl glycol. Okay, and then breaking those down so that if you find a preservative you don't know, it has like a trade name or something, so you don't know exactly what it is, but you can read the inky and you know what the inky is, and you're like, okay, this part of the inky is active against bacteria, this part of the inky is active against yeast and mold, and this one's active against fungus, so it's a broad spectrum preservative. I'm golden, right? Knowledge is power. Anyway, we're working on that. Patreon already has access to that working document, but we're also working on it being like a page on our website, so you can just click and find. And then each one has, look, I bring the receipts, okay, baby? I don't just tell you. I bring the receipts. Each one has either the statement from the supplier or a scientific journal, something like that, that gives you information about that specific preservative. Come at me, bro. You can't. You can't. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so Amy says, silly question, but it's not a silly question. If the preservative is 0.5 to 1.1, how do you know how much to actually use? So I would have to know the total of my... So say like I started off with 250 grams of base, and then I add 250 grams of sugar, and I don't add anything else, and now I have 500 grams of base. And since I made the base, I know how much preservative is in the base, so I can preserve that additional amount. So like say the preservative for the base was 1 gram, right? Because it's, I don't know. say it was 2.5 grams, okay? And now I have 500 grams, so I need to add another 2.5, right? Like, so there's okay. All right. This is looking fluffy. Oh my god. Look at that. Look at that. So fluffy. Okay, now we're gonna have like the really fun. I'm glad I doubled it though. And if I was gonna do this as a whipped base, like just whipped soap, it would probably collapse because all that in the bowl kind of indicates to me that it would probably collapse. But we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Here's the fun part. It's trying to get it all off of this. Okay, now we're going to be adding... Do we add the sugar now? I think we do, because that just makes it like, that makes our life easier. But, you know. So, anyway. But you know, the thing about preservatives is it's really complicated. You can get like real deep. You can just get so deep. You just like fall away from reality because you're just so immersed in preservatives. But no, really, you can get real deep, real specific with it, or you can keep it really surface level. So most of the blog posts I found about it, because like the thing is, like sometimes people are like, what preservative do I use, blah blah, and if there was a blog post that had that information and I didn't have to write it, I would just be like, go check out this blog, they did a great job talking about it. But I couldn't find anything that had like what I was looking for it to say, unfortunately. So gotta do it myself. You know what I'm saying? I didn't choose this life chose me. Okay, we're gonna add sugar equal to the amount of base. You don't have to add that much sugar, you can add less, but think about how cheap sugar is. Or whatever other exfoliant you want to use. I have this bamboo exfoliant that I got from Lotion Crafter, and I used it for the tree hut sugar scrub dupe that I did for Patreon. I like it a lot, so I might start using it some more because I like it a lot. Especially for like face, because I feel like it's more round, so it's less like abrasive on your face. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Add sugar, okay, or whatever you want. And if you wanted it to be less thick, you know, you could add less sugar, you could add more sugar, you can add as much as you want, or as little as you want. But sugar is cheap, so you're basically like gonna, honestly, if you're trying to choose between a whipped sugar scrub and a whipped soap, the whipped sugar scrub is the way to go. This is the most bang for your buck, in my humble opinion. Which is, I told somebody today, y'all, I almost never clap back. At least in the group, okay? Because I'm like, you know, I'm y'all's friend. I'm here to help you. There is no dumb question. Unless it is a dumb question. Wish it was. So somebody, like, says something to me. No! Okay. What? Anyway, somebody said something, and I was like, they're like, basically like, that's just your opinion, man. And I'm like, yeah, it is. And in this group, my opinion is the word of God coming to you. Okay, not really like that serious, but you know what I'm saying. It's a legally binding document in this group. Okay. Okay. She's thick. This is what I'm saying. Like, it's real thick at this point. Okay. So you don't have to worry about it collapsing because it's just thick. Now comes the fun part of trying to split this. I might just eyeball split it. Because I don't know. I guess I could math, but why so much? Okay. If it was, that is 520 times 2 is 1,030. Divided by 3. I don't know. It's like, let's just ask our... Okay, got it. 346 each. I did not think that through. What am I gonna... Oh, wait, I did think this through. I'm so sometimes I just surprise myself at my ability to think about what I'm gonna need beforehand. Because when you get on a live, if you've ever done like a live stream, which if you have a business, you should make live stream like part of your business, because I think it's really useful for people to see like the process of making stuff and like the effort that you put into making your products, you know. I think that's important for your customers to see. So you should think about that. You should think about incorporating live streams. Anyway, even if you're shy, okay? But something happens when you're on a live stream and like you quit being aware of who you are, and you just like, words just come out, or words don't come out. You can't think of what a word. It's just like a weird thing that happens to your brain during a live. And if you've live streamed before, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay. So this is so pretty and grimy. I love it. I really do hope it bleeds. I thought about, I'm gonna use lakes to make it bleed, but I thought about maybe using dyes. But I'm pretty sure lakes will still make it bleed. So, I don't know. Also, I picked like the worst spatula in the world for this. Okay. Laz says, I am so late, but hello. Hello. It's okay to be late. It's better to be late than never. And also, you got to skip the boring part where I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Meh, meh, meh. This is what this is. This is this, and that is that. Okay. Alright. And basically, you just stepped into the fun part. It's like dad parenting. Just gonna say. And sometimes, even when you're the mom, you still do dad parenting. So I'm not like, it's nothing against Mims. Okay, I'm just saying, you know what I'm talking about when I say that. Okay. Okay. All right. That's pretty evenly split. So now I'm going to add color to this one. And cross my fingers and hope everything works out. All right. So because I want this to still be like kind of pastel, so I'm gonna use microscopes. Kathy says, correct me if you're wrong. Correct you if I'm wrong. Whatever, yeah. But you believe you'd use the higher amount, being the 1.1%. Yes. We're gonna go with yellow first. Yes. Use the. I mean, if you can. Some surfactants. Yes, but no. Some preservatives are effective at fairly low pH levels. The thing is, if you don't know the pH of your product, which, like, I'm not even gonna shame you on that. I've never tested the pH of my products until I had been making stuff for like 6 years. And I was like, oh, why would you do that? Why would you need to do that? And then somebody's like, because it matters. And I was like, oh my, I didn't know, my bad. So if you don't know the pH of your product, no big deal. Pick a preservative that has a wide pH range, right? Like, that's like nothing. You can't see it at all. Like 4 to 8. Because most handmade products are going to be around 5 or 6, honestly. So I think the most important one to test the pH is going to be like shampoo bars or face things. But like if it's a lotion or a whipped soap, it's probably in that range. Okay, so yeah. So yeah, but some of them are effective at really low pH or percentage usage things. But when you go to our new page that we're working on, almost done, and we'll keep updated. You will see that we have all those little links that you can click, and then you can go find out about it. Okay. And it sucks because sometimes, I don't know why, but sometimes the like text sheets or like the SDS sheets for things are like behind a wall. Like you have to sign in, and to get an account, you have to have like a business account. You just can't use like hi@gmail.com. No, they want you to have a business account. They want you to be like la la la. And that's just rude. You know. Okay. This is taking a lot more light than I thought it would. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Nectaria says new page, like a page on our website. Not like a Facebook group. I like very much do not want another Facebook group. No offense. It's just like, you know. Then it divides my attention, and I can't pay attention to y'all all the time like I want to. You know what I'm saying? Amy says, I typically try to use Euxel PE9010 unless the formula calls for a specific one. Euxel is really cool because it, I believe it is oil soluble, but it's also water dispersible. That's pretty cool, It's pretty cool. So yeah. Okay. But and then the third blog post, the one that I was like, I stayed up till 4 a.m. writing. I was like, I give 3 examples of how to actually, because like blog post 2 is like how to choose a preservative, but then it doesn't actually tell you like how to choose a preservative, like, you know, it tells you like how to, but it doesn't like show you how to. So blog post 3 is 3 hypothetical products, what's in them, and how I would choose a preservative for those 3 hypothetical products. See? It's cool, right? Okay. I don't think this is gonna bleed, but we're gonna try. We're gonna give it a shot. And I'm not going to use a piping tip because there's really no point. It's so thick. Like, there's really no point. Is it possible for one preservative to work in all products? No. Sadly. Sadly, there is not one that can do everything. And even some of the ones that are like full spectrum, like for example, Optifin, which I think is like a really good intro. I think most people, like, that's their first preservative. You can correct, you know, y'all can like shout at me and be like, that's not my preservative. But I think for a lot of people, Optifin is probably their first preservative because it's readily available, at least in the US. I don't know about other countries either. But it's readily preservable. It's readily available, and it's the first one that you're like, okay, it's formaldehyde free. Whew, don't want formaldehyde in my sugar scrub, right? And then so you're like, yeah, I'm gonna do Optifin. Yeah. So the thing that's kind of interesting about Optifin is, even though it is a broad spectrum, there's tolerance tests that they've done on, I wish I could find tolerance tests like on every preservative, but I can't. But there's tolerance tests that they've done, and they like expose it to different bacterias and then like see how quickly it can kill. Oh my god. This ain't Texas, but it is. Okay. They see how quickly it kills bacteria, yeast, mold, fungus, whatever. So Optifin, like, it is full spectrum, broad spectrum, but it actually takes, like, I believe up to 7 days to fully heal. It's probably mold, it's probably yeast or mold, I can't remember, or fungus. It's probably yeast, mold, or fungus, but not bacteria. Anyway, it takes like 7 days, but once those 7 days are, then it's fully effective. So that's why there's like other things like good manufacturing practices, which means basically like be clean, right? And other hurdle kind of technology things where it sounds so fancy, but basically it's like just doing the best you can to make sure that the bacteria has the most amount of like stuff preventing it from having a life in your product. Okay. And Kathy's saying that I'm making whipped sugar shrubs. I sure am. It doesn't look very, it's like a buttery yellow. I don't think it's gonna bleed, but we're gonna still give it the old college try. Okay, we're gonna put our next portion in here, and we'll talk some more about sugar scrubs. I see a question. Hold on. And also, like, my poor husband has just like had to sit there while I'm like reading aloud, and I'm like, does that make sense? Like, I'll write the article and then I'll read it aloud and I'll be like, does that make sense? And he's like, yes. I'm like, thank you. I knew it did, but just needed that confirmation. Feels like I have a lot more of this than I did of this. Is my math wrong, maybe? Maybe it was, I don't know. Otherwise, it's going to be a very yellow rainbow. So I'm going to add some red 27 lake to this, and we're going to get a pink that will then hopefully kind of turn orange when it's next to that yellow. And actually, you know what? No, it's good to have more of your lightest color. Like, yellow is going to be your lightest color. When you're doing rainbow things, it's actually good to have more of your lightest color because it will get drowned out by like your more potent colors. So we're going to stand by our choices today. Okay. What preservative should I use in a sugar shrub? Optifin or Optifin Plus? After studying preservatives, I prefer more natural, and you're right, easier to find to buy. I think Optifin is a good choice for a sugar scrub. That's what I would choose. I don't have like a lot of Optifin that I like keep around because there's other preservatives that I prefer, but Optifin is a good choice. Optifin Plus is also good, but it has a lower pH range. I believe Optifin has like 0 to 12. Like, it has a really wide range of products, so that's one reason it's really good. Especially, it's like a really good intro to preservatives. And Optifin Plus, I believe, is 6 and under, so it has a little bit less room, you know. And Optifin Plus can make emulsions unstable. I did see in the supplier, I did read that the supplier actually recommends making sure that you mix Optifin Plus with like a high shear blender to kind of help ensure that it doesn't break your emulsion, which I thought was interesting. But it is kind of notorious for breaking emulsions. So a sugar scrub should be fine though. But like a lotion, I would kind of maybe like give it a shot, see what happens. But don't be mad at her when she acts out. because you know she might do that. You know what I'm saying? Victoria says, I didn't know there was a difference between Optifin and Optifin Plus, and then you feel like there isn't Optifin non-plus available in Canada. So I did actually use, when I was doing my sample things, my examples, I actually used the first example. I used an American website to source, like, I'm pretending that I'm going to this website. I don't know, you know, the preservative that the recipe calls for is not, they don't have it listed, so now I'm trying to choose a preservative without that, right? So the first one I did, I chose an American, like randomly chose an American, or like one from the US. The second one I chose one from Canada, and the third one I chose one from the EU. So I wanted to make sure. It might be this. It might be. It's a good show. It might be the second one. Anyway, it's kind of interesting because the preservative I end up recommending, I've never used it before. So for one of them, the preservative I ended up saying, like, this is the one I would choose for this. I've never used it before. I'm literally telling you, like, if I was in this exact situation, ordering from this exact supplier, this is what I would order. Like, so, because the EU and Canada's a little bit more, it's a little bit easier to find kind of the same things, but in Europe, I don't know about the UK, but probably there's things like have completely different names. So the third one that I chose is actually a preservative that I do use here in the States, but that has a completely different trade name in Europe. So, but I had to look at the INCI, the INCI, which is basically like, it's what is it when you get baptized and you get like your Jesus name, and then you have like your heathen name that people call you when you're not, or your name that you get called when you're like in trouble, you know? That's what the INCI kind of is. So I used that to look up the preservative that I ended up suggesting. So anyway, just a little insight for you guys, okay? I don't think this is gonna bleed, and if it doesn't, I'm gonna be so sad. Maybe my math was off. Also, I don't know how rainbow this looks. I feel like we're gonna be more like Easter. But whatever, we're going into spring. There's Mother's Day is coming up, okay? Okay. Alright, so then this one we're gonna add blue to. And then we're gonna try and see if we can make it work. I guess I should have tried dyes. I don't know. Also, for the Patreon after party, usually I'm like, okay, for Patreon after party, I'll do like, you know, I did a whip scrub, and so I'll do like something else. I don't think I'm gonna do like the part 2 as a whip scrub or whip soap base at all. I just feel, you know, I feel like I'm going through a different channel now. Okay. Nectaria says Orthodox Easter is on May 5th, so I can give them to my Orthodox friends. Ah, yes, that's good. My family is Greek Orthodox. Not me. They converted to Greek Orthodoxy after I moved out. So like, it's very bizarre. Like, I don't know, maybe it's not that bizarre, but it does seem like a little bizarre to me sometimes. But I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's kind of like, you know. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna drop it. All right. Nessa said, hello, it's a sleepless night and you found some friends here to keep you company. Huzzah. Hail and welcome, friend. I promised rainbow, and I think we're getting more like, I don't know, not a rainbow, but we're gonna be okay. All right, last piping bag. And I've been experimenting with like some different containers, because the containers that I was ordering, they're just like really big. I don't know. So I'm trying deli cups. I don't know if it's a good idea or not. I can't tell you, because I haven't like given anybody a deli cup item yet, so I can't tell you if it's a bad idea. But it's an idea I had, huh? Sometimes my ideas are real good. Like, sometimes my ideas are like real good. Okay. And sometimes my ideas are like not quite as good. You know. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they is. You just never know. You just never know. Okay. Okay, I'm not gonna say I hate this stuff, because I don't, because it's fun. But if you know how I feel about sugar scrubs, then you know how I feel about sugar scrubs. I don't hate them, but here's the deal. I am really, really, really scared of a particular type of bug that lives in the South, gets very, very big, and flies around the home. Okay? And so, if one of those ever comes and invades my sacred sanctuary in here, that's it. Sorry guys, you're gonna have to make do with what you have for the rest of eternity, because I'm never coming back in here. Ever. Ever. Okay? So, when making sugar scrubs, that's always at the back of my mind. That like, I'm making roach food. Huh? Yeah. And it's probably not, because there's enough surfactants in here that they don't want to mess with it. But my brain is like, but maybe. You know, my brain will not let me forget that that is a possibility. Okay? And so, and I'm not even afraid of bugs. I'm not even afraid. Any other bug, I'm like, I'll just pick it up. I was camping with my youngest son a couple weeks ago, and when we were taking down the tent, between the inner mesh tent and like the rain fly, there was a huge tarantula like this big, and I was like, oh my god, look. I was like so excited about it. There's actually 2 of them. My son really doesn't like spiders, so it freaked him out a little bit, especially because it ran straight for his backpack. But spiders don't bother me. Nothing bothers me except the evil little MRFers. Okay? And there was something that happened last year. If you were in Patreon at the time, you know what I'm talking about. Where I had almost a nervous breakdown. Literally called my therapist about it. Because there was like 8 of them within like a 2 or 3 day span. And like you know how you watch movies and you see somebody who's like going into the insane asylum and they're like screaming and like irrational and like no matter what they say, it's just like, it doesn't make sense anymore. They basically, their brain is broken. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Okay, I was very close to that. I was very close to being like, totally broken. Okay, so now that we've finished making bug food, I'm going to actually change my gloves because they're sticky and there's stuff all over them. And I don't want that to get all over my little containers. Okay. And we'll set our containers out now so that my hands can dry for a second because my hands are sweaty. And I think we're going to make 5, but I don't know. Whoa, y'all are still hanging in there. This is a long one. This is why I don't do just a lot of this stuff. But like with sugar scrubs and stuff, I just feel like it takes a long time. But the last time I was scheduled to do a whipped sugar scrub, I think I was sick or something happened, so I put it at the front of the queue for this time. Okay, yes, Tanya is answering somebody who's asking like what size batch I made, and I made a double batch. Correct. That is correct. Okay. Also, I fixed my camera last week. It was like blurry in the background, and I couldn't figure out why, and I figured it out, and I'm like so proud of myself. Okay, I could weigh it, but I think it's you get what you get. You don't throw a fit. That's what this kind of thing is. So I think I'm just gonna start with, put some pink. And there's no tips, just cut a hole. Could probably cut it a little bit bigger if I wanted to. Put some yellow. Put some blue. I'm going to fill it up more. I'm just showing you. Okay. Some blue. Some yellow. See, yellow's in the middle. It's good that we have more yellow than everything else, right? Our inner self knew what we needed and just did it for us. Now, I don't know. I was kind of hoping when I closed it, it would like actually. I believe this is a pride flag colors. I'll have to ask my son. Anyway, I think it'll be fine. Okay, let me wait and see like how much I did actually put in though. Okay, so that fit. That's 8 ounces in there. This is a 12-ounce deli cup. I don't know if deli cups are a good choice or not. I can't tell you. I don't know. But it's the choice I made, so we're here for it, okay? But I don't know if it's a good choice. We're gonna have to see. But this is like, okay, I'm not gonna lie, this part is fun. This makes it worth all the effort. You could also, hold on, I'll show you another way you could pipe it if you were so inclined. If you wanted it to be a little prettier. I don't think that it's worth piping it with a piping tip for this, honestly, because I just don't think it's worth it to pipe it with a piping tip because it's so thick and it's not really going to hold the texture. But we could also do this if we were Like if we wanted to make a swirl, you all seen me do this before. So this isn't groundbreaking. Unless it is. Unless it is your first time to see me do it. But basically you stick all three into one piping bag. If you can. Put all three into one piping bag. If you can. And pipe it that way. It's usually easier if you use smaller piping bags for the inside piping bags, but you could do it like this. So we'll give it a shot. I don't know how well this is going to work. Come on, Blue. She's not coming out. Ugh. See, it's just too hard. Oh, God. This is not the way. I'm just going to tell you, Grogu. This is not the way, okay? This is BS. It's really hard. Don't do it that way. But you could, if you wanted to do that to yourself, and you could get a little swirl. It's just, that is like, whoa. I am a work smarter, not harder type of person, so we're going to give that a big ol' thank you, but no thanks. Okay? But you can do whatever you want. Okay? It does look scrumptious, but it's just not worth getting a hernia over. You know what I'm saying? Alright, we'll just do this last one. I think there's enough for one more. Okay. Pink. This is my favorite color. Not really. It's a song. By the artist formerly known as Prince. Okay. Okay. So, if this turns into a rainbow, I'll show ya. If it doesn't, I'll still show ya. Okay, I do have enough for one more, maybe like a half one. It does smell really good. And I am interested to know if it looks like a unicorn dyed in here. I know that you can't see like 100% well, because I didn't bring you down to your little step stool that I have down here for you. But just trust me, bro. Honestly, best drink at Sonic, and I'll fight you on this, okay, is a strawberry cream slush. Okay, strawberry cream slush. It's delicious. It has soft serve and slushy mixed together, and it makes this like really delicious creamy slush. And that's what the texture of this reminds me of. I'm going to try smoothing this out because it's like, you know, janky. Well, I just made it worse, so. This is not bad. That's not bad. I don't know where that accent came from. That's not bad. Actually kind of looks nice. So, there we go. Huzzah. We've done it. We have, actually, I mean, I just want to kind of smooth these. This is such a mess in here. Okay. I like the smoothie look, okay? We're going to do that. Also kind of makes it look more like uniform. homogeneous, if you will. Maybe better. Okay. And this sad sack, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess I'll just leave it and give it to, like, I don't know, a niece or something. I mean, probably most of these I'm just gonna foist onto my friends anyway. Just be like, you have to take this. And I don't want to hear any BS about how, like, I still have the bath bomb you gave me 3 years ago because it's so pretty and I can't use it. No. Use it. Okay. All right. That is all for the whipped sugar scrubs. If you have questions, ask. Let me scroll through really quick and see if I see, like, any questions just popping out at me. Probably preservative questions. That's my life right now. It's like preservatives all the time. Okay. Ow. I hit my toe. Okay. Ask how many batches. And then I can't talk about it. I can't talk about bad things. Do I have garlic around the shed? No, I have mint all around my shed though. Mint's also really good at deterring bugs. Jessica says, I'm from the south. I know exactly what bug you're talking about. Y'all, you think I'm exaggerating? They're like literally like that big. And you think I'm exaggerating? I'm not. They're that big. Flying, just flying randomly. And then also, imagine having long, black hair. Which I do. Okay? I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you the times of what they've done to traumatize me. I can't even tell you, okay? But it's not good. Okay, Nessa says, I was going to make the whip scrub, but cannot get BioCharge here. They have been selling liquid AS90, but apparently it's AS40. Yes, the liquid BioCharge AS90 is going to be the powdered, and that means that it's 90% active ingredient, and then the liquid is going to be AS40, and it's going to be 40% active ingredient. You could substitute the liquid for the powder. You would just multiply the amount of BioCharge that's required in the recipe by 2.25, and then subtract that from your water amount. So you probably won't need any water because you're going to be using all that liquid from the BioCharge. You could also just use SCI. It's great. It works just fine. The BioCharge represents a very small portion of the recipe overall. So it's not worth not making the recipe over that, in my opinion. And I made tons of test batches, and I can tell you that it works just the same. So don't let that stop you. Let me see, any more questions? Oh, where do I purchase my piping bags? I got them on Amazon, and I like to use the Ateco brand piping bags, 18 inches. I just like them. I don't know. They're like sturdy. And then Nectary says, are you watching The Great now? Because I said huzzah. I'm not. And I actually said huzzah before I watched it. Like, I used to say that all the time. And then somebody said at some point, they were like, you must be watching The Great. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then I watched it, and I was like, huzzah. So I don't know where I got that, but I've been saying it forever. Alright, I think that's it, pretty much. I'll go back through and see if there's any questions I missed. If you're in Patreon, come join the Patreon after party. I don't know what I'm going to do. Or just something. Okay. Thanks for joining me today. I will put links in the description, though. So, if you're looking for those, I'm going to put them. Okay? Happy making. How do I end this?